Hi, and thanks for watching another instructional video for CSEI 1300. In this video, we will talk about how to design a function to count the number of matches or occurrences of elements within an array. We're going to be working with an array of integers called A with a capacity or size of 10 elements. And we're going to be working with a couple of helper functions here. So I've built some functions to populate the array. So I have random numbers that are going to fill the array from values 1 through 10. And I'm also going to have a print function to tell me what the contents of the array are when we actually run the code. I have some search integer, so some search value that is going to be randomly generated between 1 and 5. And I think this is actually, yes, this is actually 1 to 5. So we have a collection of 10 numbers ranging between 1 to 5 in the array. And we want to generate a number in that range to search to see how many times that occurs when we generate 10 numbers. So in order to do that, we'll need to create a function and then call it in the main. So we would have to pass it. Let's see, let me start with the function call here, and then I'll go up and I will do the actual function declaration and stub up above. So we want to call this function, and let's call it count matches. And count matches will take in the array. It will take in the capacity and the search value. And let's see here. We also want to return the number of occurrences. So that makes me think, what type of function should have? Well, if I want to count the number of occurrences, that's probably an int that I'm going to return. So I'm going to set the function up as an integer function and call it count matches. I'm going to pass in some array with brackets to denote that it is an array. I'm going to pass in the size, and I'm going to pass in the integer to search in the array. So now I can call this function, and I know I need to catch an integer when I call this function, so I'm going to say that output will equal count matches. So output will be the number of occurrences or the number of count times we will keep a count for the search value that we find in the array. Okay, so now that we have that set up, we can kind of go in here and start thinking about our function. So just like I was saying, we're going to have to return some integers. So I'm going to set a variable called count to 0. And then I'm going to go ahead and just say that that's exactly what I'm going to return before I even get into what I'm actually going to do in the middle of the function. So we have an array, we have its size, and we have a search value. So that means that I should probably set up some kind of a loop. I'm going to set an I value to the first index position, and I can go until 1 less than size, which would be the last index position. And I'm going to think to myself here, okay, how could I determine if something has occurred more than once? Well, if I think about like a series of numbers like 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1, if I'm going across this, what I want to do is I want to check the index position of each one of these as we go. So I would look at this one and say like, okay, is the search 5? No. Is the search 4? Say the search that I'm looking for is equal to 2. I'd look here and I'd say, okay, is this one it? No. Is this one it? No. This one? No. But this one is. So I would increase a count, and then I would increase a count again. So I would have a count of 2 for the value of 2. So that means that we need to iterate over each one of these index locations with a value stored at it, and then check that with the search value. I can do that with an if statement by saying that if the search is the same as what I have at that location. So how do I say what is at that location? Well, I'd have to use the fact that we are traversing over an array, which is a collection of elements. So I would have to use the name of the array, bracket to access its index, the element at some index. And the thing that's going to allow me to do that at every location is the iterative variable I. So if while we are going from 0 to the last container position, if at any of those index positions there is a value stored there that matches the search value, then what we're going to do is we're going to increase the count by 1. And after we finish the entire loop and we've gone over the entire array of elements, then and only then will we return a count. So let's leave a print statement here saying the number of matches was whatever came back from the function, which is stored into output. So we call the function here and we store the number of matches into output. Okay, let's save that and run the code and see what we get. So the first thing that happened here is that we generated an array of random numbers. So we have 10 random numbers here. We then print what is the thing we're searching for. We're searching for a value of 4 in the random numbers here. And you can see that we have a value of 4 here and a value of 4 here. So we counted the matches 1 up here, and again we saw it for the second time, so that's why our count is 2. We saw it twice, so it occurred more than once. That's all for finding matches in an array. Thanks and happy coding.